for a parent when they hear those things. So there's the young family is one stage, and the emptiness, and then the golden years, of course, which we alluded to earlier a few minutes ago. Aging parents very frequently need special assistance from their children. There's a European proverb that says, one father is better at caring for 10 children than 10 children are for one father. Now, that really should not characterize Christians. That shouldn't be the case where Christians are concerned, especially. Adult children have a responsibility to care for the parents when they become too old to care for themselves. 1 Timothy 5:3-4 says, honor widows who are really widows. But if any widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show piety at home and to repay their parents. For this is good and acceptable before God. So, and when it says honor widows who are really widows, it meant, because back in that day there were no retirement benefits, there were no widows' pensions, there were no Social Security that the husband could leave and stuff. But when it says honor widows who are really widows, it means widows who've lost not only their husband, but they have no children to take care of them. They have no family left. And that's when they said, honor widows who are really widows. And of course, the commandments of the church, honor widows who are really widows. You watch out for widows who don't have anyone else to watch out for them. But if any widow has children or grandchildren, he says, let them first learn to show piety at home, to repay their parents. For this is good and acceptable before God. Turn to Matthew chapter 5 just for a moment. And I'm winding it down right here. Matthew chapter 5. And look at verse, beginning verse 4. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Believers who neglect this responsibility, they make God's commandment of no effect. I think I read the wrong verse there. Let's see. I did. It's supposed to be it's in that it's the wrong verse, but let's see. It's in the verse where Jesus tells the Pharisees that you make the commandments of God of none effect. That's what I was really supposed to be shooting for. But anyway, Jesus told them, you make the commandments of God of none effect. And so when we do not take care of our parents as we should in their golden years, look out for them as we should in their golden years, we actually make the commandments of the Lord of none effect. We're not taking the responsibility that we need to take as children. We're told in 2 Timothy that those who don't look out for their family actually are guilty of denying the faith. They become worse than infidels, or worse than unbelievers. And so Jesus, he rebuked these hypocritical Pharisees for neglecting the parents. And at the end of his earthly life, he provided for his mother when he's on the cross. And he said, woman, behold your son, and son, behold your mother. What he was doing was making provision for Mary with John, who was the only disciple to actually go all the way to the cross with him. And he was telling John, my mother's your responsibility now. I'm relinquishing that to you. So, Mom, from now on, John is your son. And he's going to treat you as his mother and take care of you. Now, Jesus had other siblings. We know there was James and others, but John was the only one that followed him to the cross. I can't say as I blame him. I'd relinquish it to someone else too. Hey, you can't depend on these guys. But anyway, that's a little bit of the fifth commandment now. So we'll start working on the sixth commandment next time we come together and look into our study on the Big Ten. Father, thank you today again for your mercy and love and grace, and we ask you to help us to understand. Lord, we don't want to do anything to make the commandments of God of none effect. Anything that God has commanded for us to do, any requirements that God has placed upon us, we want to make them of none effect by being disobedient and by being neglectful. So help us, Lord, and when it comes to the matter of family, children, parents, help us to have a broad understanding of what your word says to us concerning this, and how your word would direct us to handle these relationships. We ask you for this, believe it to be done. We thank you again in Jesus'